This is I Heard Radio.
Hello everyone, we're so glad to be here with you today again in our newest segment, surprise guest. We had Mr. Kijus, as you know, Oral, and now we have Mr. Nahir with us today.
Hello everyone, this is I Heard Radio, and this morning we have Mr. Nahir with us, and I'm about to ask him the 101 questions. And so please tell us about your childhood and how you chose to be a professor of English.
Well, good morning. I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to thank you very much for your invitation. Like most students my generation, I fell in love with English. And I decided to learn English out of a challenge. One day I was sitting in a cinema theater and watching a movie, and in front of me there were two people who speak in a language I could understand. Later I realized they were speaking English. I said, I wanted to learn that language. Okay. And I remember when I first attended my first class in English, the teacher, who was French, and she wrote a word on the board and asked her to read it. And I read, the sea is blue. And phonetically, yeah. And they said, no, we don't say the sea, we say the sea. But I said, well, I haven't seen that word before, and realize now that learning English is not an easy language to learn, and most difficult is pronunciation. There are some words still I can't pronounce because if I haven't heard the pronunciation before, I wouldn't be able to pronounce them. But life is a challenge, and there's no age for learning. You learn at 7, you learn at 70. Once you say, I have learned it, you stop learning. Yes. Okay. So I think first thing about any language, if you like a language, that's the first thing. Motivation, love what you do. If you don't love it, just skip it. Yes, right. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen among some students to come to Marrakesh and to learn English, to take intensive classes in English, what we call at the time formation. So I was in Mohammed V in Bab Armat, and there were 16 of us from all over Morocco, and our teacher was English. And interesting enough, when I came to teach at the university, she was teaching here with us. So I actually got to meet my professor, and I taught with her at the university. God bless her soul, now she passed away 2 or 3 years ago. But she was English, and she loved Morocco, and she decided to live in Morocco. After I finished, I got my baccalaureate, I went to Fez for 4 years at the university, and then from there I got a scholarship, and I went to France. And usually when I talk to people, say, why do you go to France? You don't go to France to learn English. I say, well, you go to France to fall in love, but not to learn English. Okay. But
where was that, sir, in Paris?
I was in Grenoble.
Okay.
And people go to Grenoble actually to ski. So it's a very cold place, very hot. It's like Marrakesh, hot and cold. Yeah. But oddly enough, when I lived in France, I wasn't speaking one word of French. I was speaking English because I lived with English students who came from all over the world to learn French. So while they were speaking to me in French, I was speaking to them back in English. Each one of us was trying to prove his language. But I think the best way to learn English is by getting in touch with native speakers and sharing their food. And after I got my doctorate at the troisième cycle, I came back to Morocco and started to teach. So I joined the university in 1986 until today. And in the 27 or 28 years I've been teaching English, I've met all sorts of students, from very bright to dull to challenging. But I must confess that one of the rewards of teaching English, and it's a moral gratification. When I walk in the street of Marrakesh and I meet old students who are probably doing better than me, most of them are guides, tour guides, but work in restaurants and hotels, or teachers. There's always the pleasure to meet an old student and say hello. Yeah. So there's always something, I'm always grateful for that. Some of my students are bright students, I must confess. Some of them are writers, and myself, I'm very much interested in creative writing, and in fact I used to offer creative writing classes with the Peace Corps American here in Marrakesh about 6-7 years ago. I wish we could go back and do more writing, but writing for me is has a therapeutic effect. Okay? We write to get things off your chest and off your brain.
Well, from our radio, we're just so sorry to hear about the loss of your son, and I was actually heartbroken by this sad news, sir. Well, can you just tell us what happened to him exactly? Like, tell us a little bit more about his stories.
My son was 20 years old. He was a student at the UNCG. He was very talented. He was very ambitious. He was very open-minded. He liked to play music, but also did his prayers. He embodied the real Moroccan combination of tradition and modernity. And he went to the hotel with his friends to enjoy an end of school year. And he went swimming, and we haven't found his body yet. His body is still there after 4 months. Now I'm starting this campaign because there is always something to learn from bad situation. And this campaign is about stopping or banning swimming in dams and lakes across Morocco, because every day someone dies in indifference. So I'm asking favor from all my students and friends to go on my Facebook page and just click on like. Maybe something's gonna happen to change reality. I'm sure where he is happy now. He's probably looking at us now from where he is, but I don't want his death to go like that, in vain. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation.
So now we're gonna go to the questions that we received in our page, our official page, and we're gonna start with Ahmed Razi. He says, "Thank you, Professor Al-Halwi. And my question for Mr. Nahir is this: would you like please to tell us any effective way to revise our lesson and prepare for the exams? I mean, a method from your experience. Thank you, sir."
Okay, the success is practice. If at first you don't succeed, practice, practice, practice again. You are fortunate enough today to have the internet. You can go just online, download, listen to music, listen to anything, read as much as you can. Anything you find, read it. If you get the chance to meet native speakers, just practice your spoken English. But you are fortunate enough to have the internet. Go, Mr. Google will help.
Yes, sure. Well, the second question, sir, was from Amin Al-Kunti, who said, my question to Mr. Nahir is the following. What is, in your opinion, the best way to gain a respectful vocabulary in English, synonyms, antonyms, etc.?
Again, my advice is, if you want a vocabulary, read, 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 read. Reading is the best way to increase your vocabulary.
And now to Abdurrahman Mahom. He says, what is the secret behind your smile all the time?
You're all the time cheerful, sir. He's right.
You know what they say, the smiling face behind the aching heart. Okay?
Yeah.
A smile doesn't cost much, it doesn't cost anything. Just be kind, be generous, be happy, make people happy. Okay? And you have enough time to nurture your sadness if you have it. But be happy. It won't cost a dime.
Well, here's a comment from Yahya Boudinar, who said, Mr. Nahir is a wonderful teacher, and I thank him for his uniqueness. As well as Asma Haji said that you are always smiling, may Allah protect you. Yeah, so I heard some beautiful comments from people. Yeah.
So we have Hussein Abu Azza. He says, first, thank you, sir, for your efforts. Much appreciated. Second of all, in your opinion, what makes a great teacher great?
I think a teacher should be more than a teacher. Should be like a father, like a confidante. Should be always listening to the student, and it should be sharing and be available whenever needed. Ask question, answer question, even help. Why not? With advice, with time. Be generous with your time.
All right, sir. I would like to ask you about the novellas that you've written and the poems that you showed me this morning. Can you talk a bit about it more?
So I like to write, but I'm a lazy writer. I like to write when something really stimulates me, and usually I write when I'm really in a state, and usually when I'm sad. So my first novella was written in 4 months, and it's called Angela's Story. And it's a love story, actually, that ends tragically, like most love stories, like Romeo and Juliet and the rest. Yeah. My friend died in her bed at the age of 37. And then I wrote about my father, who was an exceptional man, also died in his bed alone. No one was there. He died in his bed sleeping. The next day he came and there was no one. And then I wrote about my son. So I like to write, but also I write things which are sometimes funny. I wrote these short stories about the story of a car. What's the relationship between a car and a woman? So it's not politically correct, but I will let you find it if you are tempted to read it. So I like to write anything. The best things in life are free, for example. So I like to write anything that comes to my mind.
Yeah, sure.
We've heard a lot of good things about you. So I just want you to tell us what you think about this generation, like our generation. The students say, since your son, may his soul be blessed, passed away, and we are at the same age. So what do you think about this generation? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What's the difference?
Our kind of music,
You know, I always think that age is a mental concept, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But as a young person, my advice, although I hate to give advice, you know, my advice is enjoy life to the maximum. Be outspoken. Say what's in your heart. Don't keep things inside. If you love someone, tell them I love you. Whether it's your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your friend. Don't keep things inside. And be ambitious. Don't expect others to do things for you. Take the initiative and be optimist. Be upbeat. And God will help you. If you help yourself, God will help you. Don't lie down and complain. Try to be ambitious.
That's right. You get it right, sir. I have another more question for you, sir. It's is motivating student a good, or I mean a tough task?
I think now it's very hard to teach because of overcrowd. They have different conditions. Very hard condition to teach English. We have large classes. We have many students. Sometimes the computer is not working or the projector is not working. And ideally, I would like to teach in like just 45 minutes, but a small classroom with 20 students. It's very hard. So that's why I really admire students who take the bus every morning, come to school, despite or regardless of everything. So I would just say big thank you for everyone who comes to learn English.
Well, thank you, sir. I don't know what to say. You've been such a great company to us, and we would like to have you whenever you feel like it. Just come by, and we'll just have a talk. And this has been like one of the best sessions that we have ever had in our radio, and we're so proud to have you, sir. Thank you so much.
And thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me, and I wish you the best for the rest of your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Restez à l'écoute. Restez à l'écoute. I Heard Radio. I Heard Radio. Again and again.